With me now is James Woolsey, former CIA director. And sir, thank you for your time. It's good to speak with you this morning. U.S. tracks threats against the West by al-Qaeda affiliates inside Syria. That's the headline from the Wall Street Journal. What do we need to understand about what's being plotted now?
Well, Fuad Ajami used to say that President Obama reminded him of a constitutional scholar trapped in a crowd of thugs. And these are the thugs in Syria, especially, but other places as well. Obviously, Australia, the terrible possibility that Australians in the next day or so would have seen a number of their citizens beheaded in the streets by one or another extreme Islamist organizations. One cannot be satisfied at all that we're following whom we need to follow if we're focusing only on ISIS. They're one terrible organization. But this is a movement, a worldwide movement of extreme Islam, violent jihadis. And we have to focus on that and not just on the group of the moment.
Who wins between the scholar and the thugs?
We need a lot of very tough scholars if we're going to take on the thugs. And we have to.
If the issue of Syria had not festered for 2.5, 3 years, would we still be seeing this threat the way it is today?
It could have gone better, and Iran is one part of the reason it did not go better, because they have been helping the Syrians. They've been doing everything they possibly can to extend radical Shia groups and support for them into all parts of the Middle East. And I think that President Obama, in one of his moves that did not scare the thugs at all, when he decided not to punish Assad for crossing the red line and using chemical weapons against his own people, I think that helped move along the Syrian and Islamist position in the Middle East a very great deal.
I don't know if you know, James Clapper was speaking this week. He's the Director of National Intelligence, as you're quite aware. He has mentioned now 2 new groups to keep an eye on. One is called the Nusra Front, and that's an al-Qaeda offshoot. It seems to be essentially Sunni, operating inside Syria for a couple of years right now. And he has significant concerns about this group emerging and launching attacks outside of Syria. There's another group now known as Khorasan.
Yes.
I don't know if they're Sunni allied or Shia allied, but they believe they have a homeland in what is now like northern Afghanistan and the eastern part of Iran. They too are operating. And what Clapper talked about is that this group has shown an affinity for bomb plots. And it's the first time anyone of high-ranking intelligence within the administration has admitted that this group even exists. And that on its face should scare a lot of people.
Well, it should rally us to realize that just because the president doesn't want to talk about a war doesn't mean that we're not in one. We are in one, a worldwide one. And the administration goes to great lengths not to say that, and not to have the narrative get out of control. But the hell with the narrative. We have to level with one another about what's going on. And we're in a war, a worldwide war, and it's going to get worse. We need to rally for it, spend to be able to fight it effectively, train friends and allies, give the people who deserve it and are trying to help us weapons, not just night vision goggles. We've got a lot of things we need to do.
And you know, too, these groups are competing for attention. I mean, that's what ISIS is doing with these beheadings. Final question. Based on what Congress has passed with regard to Syria, what does the language of that bill mean that the U.S. will do inside of Syria to confront the groups that we just mentioned here?
Well, it's a step in the right direction, but it's a pretty small one, and I think it only lasts as long as the continuing resolution. It was a good vote, and I'm glad Congress passed it. But this is a bare beginning.
Sir, thank you for your time, and we will speak again. James Woolsey, former CIA director in Washington.